Okay, thank you everyone. It's really exciting to be talking to here. So not another shiny thing, but let's start somewhere else, on the streets of Berlin or Amsterdam or any city, really. City bikes, the rental city bikes, and love for them. They are great inventions. They appeared like 5-6 years ago on the streets of many main cities around Europe. And you can just hop on them, use the app, yeah? Travel around the city, don't use your car, go green, flex your muscles, and just leave them on any station. We've been just 2 weeks ago in Berlin, and we used them wonderfully even in late November. And then something new entered the market. Yes, the scooters. Love them or hate them, but hate them. They are everywhere. They actually literally exploded because dropped from the spaceship, yeah? And that's why they quite frequently laying down like that. And they are a great invention. They're a great invention because, they don't even require you to, flex your muscles, which for some is an advantage and for some is a little bit of disadvantage. So at the moment, it's a little bit of a fight, of a war really, for life and death between rental bikes and scooters. And it's really true. In the beautiful town of Kraków, anyone been to Kraków, Poland? I've been told that next year there might not be any longer rental bikes. And the same fight is happening in Berlin. I've just read an article about it. So it's a real fight. And, I'm a fan of scooters. That's me driving through Berlin. However, the rental bikes has been just discovered. The whole ecosystem, the habits of people are readjusting to start using them, not to buy another bike to stand in a basement for another year. Perhaps scrap the one family car instead of 2 or 3. We have one now because of the rental bikes. And because we chase the next shiny thing, we put them in danger. So that's the message I have for you today. We are, as said, Gamefield, the Gamefield learning platform. And yes, last year in Amsterdam, the trio of us, because I hate when someone says Arek was, Arek is. I'm sorry, but there is a team of us, and 3 of us are here. Krzysztof, joint CEO, Maciek, our Chief Technology Officer, is here. So the 3 of us were last year, and we were surprised to win this award. But we also, that very same month, won a gold award for best implementation of a gamified learning program in London, which is also a global event. So it seems like that we have a good software and we know how to implement it. And that's perhaps why I dare to take next 25 minutes of your life. Yes, we are early adopters. We love technology. That's me testing some VR set. Actually, you have also the whole setup that lets you sing and feel through the body what you're singing, which was terrible, but amazing, interesting experience. That's me talking to, anyone know who this guy is? You will soon. That's, in my opinion, it's pretty much the next Steve Jobs. That's Dr. Hansen, creator of Sophia the robot, the first sort of emotional robot. You probably are nodding now because you know Sophia. Dr. Hansen was in Warsaw on Master and Robots conference. I had the pleasure to doing the interview with him because I also love doing interviews. I'll be doing interviews with some of the speakers here. But we also like to keep in check with reality. That's us on the... This disclaimer, that's not our offices. But that's where we spend the night. That's my bed for the night. That's Maciek's. On the urban survival thing. Because it's great to experience new, but it's good to know where we are at the moment and what is the reality. And we know how the reality is because just 2 weeks ago we've been on this online Educa Berlin, a huge conference, more than 2,000 participants, and we talked for 2 days to hundreds of people, and they were asking, does it do that, or does it do that, or how it works? And you know, my needs are this and that. We really are close to the customers, especially for us, it's B2B, so it's especially to the corporate customers. And I want to, hopefully it will open this a little bit of an advertisement.
Mood-changing technology at the touch of one button.
Let it be your night. Wait a minute, gonna kiss yourself and put some lemon in it. You're so high, yeah, better than that. Have a good life that you will never forget. And feel so fine, I like your style. The time is right, the flag it and move on up.
I mean, to make some very rich, expensive CEO executive sympathetic, that's a challenge, isn't it? And they've done it. So the message is technology is really great, but it needs to work. And if it doesn't, it's frustrating. And we are accustomed to this consumerism. We have on our mobiles excellent, beautiful apps. They work smoothly. You just download it, it just works. And it doesn't work this way in a corporation. Yet. It's still bound by so many limitations, so many security elements, so many, the GDPR protecting your data, but it means that all the drives are encrypted now and it makes them even slower. So I wanted to share some of the problems that our clients face, how we answer them, and see what they are. Because the state of the things, the current LMS e-learning systems, are not that great. The experience, we are being told, are not that great. So, what the HR managers say? First of all, can I download it? And what they mean, I was talking to this big retailer, a big chain of stores, probably one of the biggest in Poland, and you know them in Europe. And they love what they see. They love the graphics, the rich story. And then they ask the question, but can we download it? And we say, well, no need. It's web-based. It's wonderful. It works on mobile, on web. No. But we have really poor connection in our stores, and I want our people to be able to use it. But I say, it's really optimized. It really works smoothly. You didn't see our connection. It's really bad. And actually, I've just visited them last week, and the connection is still the same. She said, if we were implementing in the stores, we would have to have an option to download it. Another one. If it goes up to CFO, CEO, he will say, well, I won't spend that money on people playing games. But then you have in the same company sometimes an L&D expert, an enthusiast of games, and they will say, well, it's not really a game, is it? I don't see any dragons. And yes, sir, my dear sir, you don't see any dragons because dragons are amazing. Who loves dragons? Everyone loves dragons. Not everyone. We are in a gamers community, and I had 5 hands raised. 20% of people love dragons, and the 80%, Star Wars maybe, yeah? They're amazing. Everyone loves, no. Yeah, so 20% would give their life for Star Wars, but the rest of 80% would not. And you see, when you're doing a project, a different kind of gamification, let's say you want to gamify and experience visiting Berlin, yeah? And you create such game. I know that Play Visit in Spain, I believe there is some. And you get 5,000 people to sign up and experience Berlin in a gamified way. And that's a huge success, isn't it? You should be proud of yourself. You should. However, what percentage of visitors is it? Honestly, less than 1%. It is a success in an open environment. In a corporation, when someone pays for some software, they really need to get higher, a bit higher, 60, 70, well, preferably 90% of engagement. And I'm talking about voluntary engagement because we've never agreed to have a mandatory gamification because you can have games and play when it's mandatory. So we give people this. There are no dragons. There is no Star Wars. There's just map of Europe. But journey, traveling through the countries is relevant for almost anyone. And, well, you can travel through Germany and Europe, or you can travel through Route 66, legendary Route 66 in the United States, through the 11 states of it. And visit every state, and you can go build future cities. Building as well is a relatively universal story. And for some groups, like we've had some car salesmen and some car parts salesmen, this, collecting luxurious cars, was a good narrative, but you really need to be careful what target group you're using, so you're aiming at 100% of them, and not some fans of some narrow story. Another thing we hear is, I already have an e-learning solution. Yeah? And you need to respect that you are entering with your solution, with your gamification, you're entering an existing ecosystem. People have those systems already, and they won't pay for another one. So I have 3 letters for you. API, which is the smart way that your gamification can plug into their existing system. Then I have another 5 letters for you. It's OWASP, preferably 2, which is, anyone knows what's that? It's a security level. This 2 means bank security level, because if they allow you to share the data, again, the GDPR and stuff, it needs to be secure. And last but not least, statistics. Why the current LMS systems and e-learning systems are not that beautiful? Part of the reason is they need to create good statistics. But, you know, it shouldn't be a limit to you. Yes, you must have a statistics panel, something that really digests all the numbers and spits them out through the API to the system. You have to have that, but why do you have to lose beautiful story and beautiful narrative? There is no reason for that. So there was the problems. I have some solutions. I have some pro tips. There is 4, maybe 5 pro tips from me. So first of all, really, a story is probably the least expensive way to engage people. And as long as you're using a really narrow targeting narrative, you are in for a win. And you can make a story online, but what works really brilliantly is when you connect it a tiny bit with offline. We had this narrative of traveling through Route 66 to car salesmen, and the players could enter the platform, and the first thing they could do is enter whatever they wanted on plates like this, and they would receive them via mail, via internal mail, onto their desk. And you can imagine how viral it went when everyone who already logged in had their desk. Can you spell it? that's a genuine Polish first name, by the way. This one is easier. So, yeah, a tiny bit. I also want to compliment you guys on the passport. We've had some passport like that in our gamification when we were traveling across the world, and you visited offline seminars. Every time you've been on an offline seminar, you get a stamp in your passport. People love passports. They are an amazing way of a touch of an offline in otherwise online experience. Another, quite controversial, but trust us, we really tested this, and it really works, a single learning path. I'll explain it on an example from much closer to the heart or to stomach. So you have this all-you-can-eat buffet, yeah? It's for €9.99 or dollars or pounds all you can eat. And you think you are in for a win. You're excited, you eat, and halfway through you start realizing that, yeah, I've made a mistake. I made a big mistake because my stomach is now huge. And you realize that I cannot do that anymore. That was too much. And you have the same with Netflix and all addictive apps. Yeah, you hop in, you binge watch, you go into this app, it's really addictive, but then you say, well, but I got to work to do. Yeah, especially if we're talking about gamification at work. Those people need to do some work, not only be gamified and learning via this app. So what we do is something called daily special. Another experience, you come to a restaurant at lunchtime, yeah, and they have this long menu, but then you see this promo offer and say, what's your daily special for this lunch? And the way to explain it is this, oh yes, sounds great, I'll have that. Don't you do that? It sounds great, I'll have that. Just one thing, or perhaps two, to choose from. And that's what we do. Because when they're working and it's 3 p.m., their decision-making muscle is already really, really tired, okay? It's really stretched. Don't make me think, please. Don't make me make decisions. Typically, you offload a library of lots and lots of courses, from wonderful courses, from Harvard Business Review, Udemy, whatever, LinkedIn Learning. But there's like hundreds of them. And when they have a moment to go in, they're overwhelmed with choice. Perhaps once they spend an hour on it or two, but then they say, but my work got behind. So, not really recommended. So what we do is, whenever they click, they know that all those others are inaccessible. That's the only active point. And when they enter the room, there is a bit of exploration, but they see that these are already behind me, this is the active one, and this is still, again, not accessible to me until I unlock it. Okay? So when they enter the game, the one country is only active. They have to complete the tasks to unlock Germany, and then unlock Austria, and perhaps then go to Italy. And it can unlock in a different order, depends on what's relevant to them. When we were working with a bank that has Portuguese roots or Portuguese owners, they would go to Portugal, and so and so. Make them want it. That's another really, really well-working pro tip. Don't push it. What's the typical scenario? You have this e-learning, you have this compliance training, and it needs to be completed by everyone by the end of the month. So you nag them with emails, with text messages. You, at some stage of desperation, walk to their desks. Do this. You have to complete it. And in the end, you have 100% completion. Because, well, anyone who didn't complete the course was fired because it was mandatory. So you have 100%. But that's not the point, is it? So if you reverse it, it works like magic. I've already told you about unlocking. They want to complete the tasks to explore, which is another great game mechanic, to explore, to unlock, to see what's there. If you look carefully, it says here, days to new tasks, 3 days. What? There is not, if you log in and you complete 3 tasks, that's totaling 15 minutes, and that's it. There is no more tasks for you to do. Get back to your work, do your stuff. I mean, you want to be successful not only in the game, but you want to be successful at your job. And these tasks were relevant to your work, and they helped you be successful. So next task will be in 3 days. We had a funny failure story to share. We had a new person. I say hello to her. She's now with us for more than 3 years. But first week, somehow she was in charge of sending text messages. And she said text message about new tasks available on the platform too early. The guys from IT, Maciek's team, didn't open them for people, but she already sent the text message. And we have this chat function, people can chat to us and ask about it. And there was like 50 people already saying, what? Where are the tasks? We were waiting for them. In a corporate environment, true story. It's just reverse it. Don't push, pull. Okay, make them want it. A genuine case study is, for example, 185 bank branch managers, not your average millennial, okay? A bank manager, a busy person. And we got them to 100% engagement. Yeah, so let's not focus on that because that's over 12 months and it means that everyone at least logged in and tried this, okay? So that's not really very important. But then, out of all 30,000 available tasks, all of them completed 23,000 tasks, which means 76% of all tasks along 12 months of a journey were completed by bank managers. Busy people, technologically skeptical. That's what works when you have a good narrative, a journey, and you make them want it. Don't overwhelm them, don't make them binge watch at the first time and then And it's also connected to microlearning, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, because they've spent on average 5 minutes a day, but the total was 22 hours. And get any corporate person to spend 22 hours on an online course. They would hate you. Did they hate us? I can tell you not. We have since completed 9 projects for this company. Microlearning and web-based RWD. RWD, responsive web design. We are not recommending having an app on the phone. We are recommending you to have a website, web application, and it works beautifully on mobile, but don't take my word for it. So we had this implementation for people who work in small stores, relay in media, small stores on train station, bus stations, airports. Yeah, there is typically 1 or 2 of them at any given time. You cannot take them for offline training because there is, not enough staff, and they are very busy until they are not. There is 5, 10, 15 minutes break that they have at their work, and they can start on the desktop at home and then continue smoothly on their way home on the train or when there is no one in the queue. And that's how responsive web design works. It's really a really smooth experience. So highly recommend that. Microlearning can take many, many forms. You know them probably. Simulations, quizzes, puzzles, ebooks. You can put infographics. That's all formats of microlearning. There is many more. We use 25, I believe. And whatever you do, make them beautiful. I've talked about consumerism. Any consumer app is beautiful. So the challenge is do the work. Take the boring PDF and turn it into some beautiful infographics, ebooks. Split it into microlearning. You gotta do it. Because we don't have time and we offload on them an hour-long, an hour-and-a-half long courses. And that's not fair. That's not fair on them. If you do the work, they will pay you back. They will actually get engaged, and over the long time. That's how satisfied those people from those little shops were with the platform. And when we dug deep into what you liked, they actually like all of the formats like ebooks, infographics, quizzes, simulations, and tests. These 3 formats are actually forms of testing, which is another game mechanic. Games is about barriers and the player breaking them, challenges to overcome. People love being tested. We would think that they would love infographics and ebooks more and videos because, that's passive. They don't have to do anything. And then they love tests and simulation and quizzes, which requires effort from them because that's how games work. By the way, 97% of them wanted to have the next season because we are not addicting our people to there's seasons and you can stop or you can have another one. So to sum it up, my pro tips are story, really take them on an adventure, and graphics, build a world, but within this world, with a text adventures. In the previous talk we've heard, text adventures are amazing and they're cheap to write text if you are creative, you find someone creative. So you need to build the world once, but if it's universal like traveling, You can build any story. Catch Me If You Can was one of our stories. Discovering diamonds all around Europe, or going to different parts of the world and building a famous building. I promise you guys from Egypt to show you Egypt. I'm not sure if it's in the main presentation, but I will show you later, hopefully. Single learning path, that's controversial because you want people to have autonomy, choice. I'm telling you, perhaps yes, but in a workplace, they are tired. And if you want this choice to be better for them, if I was to be futuristic just for a second, the one single area we are investing at, and heavily, €500,000, is AI Sticky. It's a model called AI Sticky, which is artificial intelligence working for you to make it stick. Okay? The knowledge to stick with you, the skills that you're learning to stick with you. So we will keep the single learning path, but will be adjusted real time based on your reactions, your scores, the choices you make to your particular needs, okay? So, again, don't make them think, but you can do some thinking for them based on their choices, okay? And make them want it. Microlearning, all those formats, do the work, split it, break into small chunks. So, that's the jump I do whenever I'm happy. And then we get second prize for the best celebration of an award. So, if you follow those pro tips, you know, we are not applying next year, so perhaps one of your implementations could be there at the top. It really seems to be working, those elements. Some of them are controversial. And do we have 2 minutes for... Oh, go to our YouTube channel. You will find also some interviews. There's interview with Bernardo Letaif from last year, Gamification Europe. So you can find us there. There will be interviews with speakers of this conference as well very soon. So that's where you can find us. That's it from me. Any questions? We have time for questions, yes. Okay, we have 3 minutes for questions. Please. Yeah.
Hi, Anna from Hungary and France. You mentioned the teams, but haven't talked about the social interactions that there may be in the game. I guess it's very important for engagement.
Yeah, social interaction in the game, I think what might be best for you guys actually to see, I'll just open up the platform live and while answering the questions. So that's it. And so one interaction is this, okay? Arek just logged in. So I know I'm not alone. I'm not the only fool going through this game during the office hours. And it works beautifully on booking.com, doesn't it? Whenever you're trying to book. There are ranks, and the ranks can be split in any way you like. I'm purposefully not mentioning them. You all know rankings, okay? You all know leaderboards, and you can have team rankings, and you can see my team, okay? So that's another format of social interaction. And if you were specifically asking about direct interaction through the platform, we have tested that. We have such model, and for some implementation, we have done it. The challenge is, from our experience, you have to moderate that. You need to have a community manager, someone really engaged into moderating this community. And if you're not, it will not be live. That's our experience. So there is plenty of interactions. You see other people doing stuff, and you know you're not alone. There is actually even a wall of activities, a bit of like Facebook wall, just who has done what. But that's our form of interaction. Thank you. Another question? There's one. Yeah? You'll be around, though, won't you? You'll be around. I will be around. Yes. Oh, look at that. But that's blocking. That's a game mechanic. Blocking, unlocking. This level is not unlocked. It will be unlocked during the break. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.